My thanks to Bring Me to Life Radio, and welcome to the Cinema Scribe. When it comes to caring for the well-being of others, is total honesty necessarily the best policy? Isn't it possible that there could be something to be said for blissful ignorance? But then, isn't it unconscionable to intentionally leave someone in the dark? These are thorny questions, many of which depend on one's perspective, both individually and as part of a collective. Issues that are among those addressed in the touching new comedy drama, The Farewell. Grad student Billi Wang, played by Awkwafina, leads a full life in New York. While anxiously awaiting word on a fellowship application, the Chinese-born emigre and would-be writer spends much of her time trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And, when not looking for ways to keep her head above water financially, she visits with friends and her parents, her mother, Jian, played by Diana Lin, and her father, Haiyan, played by Tsi Ma, who brought the family to America more than 20 years ago when he landed a translator's job. As much as Billi tries to stay upbeat, however, she's pressed to remain positive when she learns she's been turned down for the fellowship. And if that weren't enough, she receives more bad news when word comes from China that the family matriarch, Billi's grandmother, Nai, played by Shuzhen Zhu, has been diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Needless to say, Billi is devastated by the news. She adores her grandmother, particularly for the words of love and encouragement she routinely doles out during their frequent phone conversations. But Billi is even more upset by some additional disturbing news. She learns from her parents that the extended family has no plans to inform Nai about the severity of her condition. It's a practice commonly employed by relatives with terminally ill patients in China, a belief based on the notion that there's no point in unduly burdening the dying, particularly those in otherwise good spirits. The thinking goes, why spoil their mood, especially if they have little time left? The family thus intends to keep Nai in the dark, a plan that Billi has major problems with. Having spent most of her life in the U.S., she's accustomed to Western ways, including full disclosure under such circumstances. Her protests are dismissed, though, her parents insisting that she's not to say a word to Nai. They explain to her that their plan is the Eastern way, one that Nai herself used when she learned that her husband was dying years earlier. Billi's told that she's expected to comply, given that all of the other members of the extended family have agreed to go along with it. Billi also learns that the plan will get put to the test at an upcoming family gathering. Billi's cousin, Hao Hao, played by Han Chan, who lives with his family in Japan, recently announced his engagement to his fiancée, Eiko, played by Aoi Mitsuhara. They decided to marry in China, using the occasion as a front for a reunion that will likely double as a veiled farewell to Nai. Everyone will be in on the secret except, of course, the guest of honor, who has been carefully conditioned to suspect nothing, leading her to believe that she's in perfect health and that all of her recent medical test results came back as benign. Unsure how she'll hold up under this pressure, Billi has reservations about the cover story and whether she'll be able to go along with it. But that's something the family has anticipated. No sooner does Billi express her concerns when Jian and Haiyan tell her that they don't want her to attend the reunion, fearful that she'll crack under the pressure and let something slip. But, given her love for Nai, she disregards the request and makes the trip, albeit with great trepidation. When Billi arrives in the family home of Changchun, everyone is astounded to see her. Haiyan, Jian, Hao Hao, and Eiko, along with Billi's uncle Haibin, played by Yongbo Jiang, and Grandma's younger sister, Little Nai, played by Lu Hong, are shocked when the unexpected guest arrives. They're all worried enough that they will not be able to keep up a good front, but now they have concern that their Americanized relative will be able to keep mum too. The one most perplexed by this, of course, is Nai herself. Unaware that anything is going on, she's her usual cheerful self. She's pleased that the whole family is together again, something that hasn't happened for a very long time. and she eagerly goes about planning the wedding reception, paying close attention to every last little detail. But, at the same time, she senses something may be amiss. The long faces and melancholy moods of her relatives suggest something is wrong, even if she can't identify specifically what. As this scenario plays out, the family experiences a number of close calls. Little Nai and the brothers Haiyan and Haibin do their best to run interference, but tricky situations arise often, placing the entire plan on the verge of falling apart. And, ironically enough, Billi is seldom the cause for concern in these instances. With the wedding approaching, the family's subsequent departure pending, and Nai's health showing signs of further deterioration, it remains to be seen whether everyone will be able to successfully hold things together. The desire to say a cloaked but heartfelt farewell comes into conflict with the need to say a proper goodbye, a challenge made all the more difficult by emotions that are continually being amped up. Those of us accustomed to Western ways will likely side with Billi when it comes to her view of full disclosure. The sense of staring down the truth, no matter how difficult, is undoubtedly an outgrowth of the concept of rugged individualism, a trait especially ingrained in the American psyche. The idea of tackling challenges, even those likely doomed to futile failure, permeates the, quote, take it like a man, unquote, culture, regardless of gender. In the East, however, it's often a different story. Despite living in the westernized cultures of America and Japan, much of Billi's family still clings to the old traditions, especially those that involve collective efforts. Indeed, as Billi's uncle observes, in the ways of the old world, one's life is not necessarily one's own, that individuals are part of a collective in which everyone is expected to participate and cooperate for the well-being of the whole, even if such efforts go against one's personal views, and particularly if they contribute to the betterment of society or the well-being of others, especially family members. So which view is right? Neither is inherently right nor wrong. They're just different, and each is made equally possible by varying viewpoints. No doubt adherents to each outlook will argue in favor of his or her perspective, and each would likely make good cases for their perspectives. But what truly matters is what's best for the loved one in question. That's what anyone caring for someone in circumstances like these should consider first, especially if we profess to genuinely care for them. Director Lulu Wang's excellent comedy drama is one of the most capably made, thoroughly satisfying films of this or any other year. With excellent performances by Awkwafina and Shenshu Zhu and a superb, smartly written script, the picture takes viewers on an emotional roller coaster, from laughter to tears to heartfelt warmth and back again. There's so much to like here that it's difficult to get one's hands around everything it has to offer. Let's hope this one is remembered come award season. Billed as being, quote, based on an actual lie, unquote, The Farewell presents a thoughtful look at difficult and touchy questions, many of whose answers might not be as definitive or clear-cut as many of us would like to believe. It gives us much to ponder, not only for circumstances like this, but also in realizing that there may be multiple approaches available for addressing any kind of difficult situation. By taking a reasoned, open-minded approach to such scenarios, we may find we have a variety of options open to us to arrive at the best, most satisfying outcomes. And who could argue with that? I'm Brent Marchant, the Cinema Scribe. Thanks for listening.
A lifelong movie fan and longtime student of metaphysics, Cinema Scribe Brent Marchant is the award-winning author of Get the Picture, Conscious Creation Goes to the Movies, Consciously Created Cinema, The Movie Lover's Guide to the Law of Attraction, and Third Reel Conscious Creation Goes Back to the Movies, all of which provide reader-friendly looks at how the practice of conscious creation, also known as the Law of Attraction, is illustrated through film. Brett maintains an ongoing blog about metaphysical cinema and other self-empowerment topics through his website, www.brentmarchant.com. He's also the movie correspondent for the Good Radio Network and New Consciousness Review magazine and radio, with additional writing contributions to Smart Women's Empowerment, The Happy Guide, Library Journal, BeliefNet, Vivid Life, New Age News, and Master Heart Magazine. Brent holds a BA in Magazine Journalism and History from Syracuse University. Again, check him out at www.brentmarchant.com.